Mim.
Hey, Scarlett.
Welcome back, guys. You're listening to Style Over Substance.
We're just two friends talking about our experiences working inside the fashion industry and also our observations from outside the fashion industry. It's sometimes serious, but it's definitely always a good laugh.
Always. We release new episodes every Tuesday.
So subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platforms. That wasn't very exciting.
What's up?
That reminds me of our old episodes. Our first
oh my god. Yeah.
What
a time.
So, how's life treating you?
I'm alive, which is what I tell. Like, if I go into work and people ask me how I am, I just tell them I'm alive, which is like a bit of a dark joke that I have of like, it's better than saying like, I'm fine, I'm okay, because that means nothing anyway. So I'm like, I'm alive. And they was like, that's a bit worrying, but it's a good start. Is what I always get. So first and foremost, I'm alive. I'm also on annual leave for the rest of the week, so I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I was meant to have the week off. I was meant to be on holiday, but holidays are expensive and it's not the safest time to be going away. Things are being cancelled left, right, and centre. So I'm just having a few chilled days. I've got stuff I need to sort out, you know. It's like an extended weekend, but it's like 6 days.
Things really roll around so quickly, especially when you've got like extended period of time off and you're like, I'm gonna do those like life admin things that I don't get the chance to do during the week.
By the wayside.
Oh my god. And then you start it and before you know it, it's like 6 o'clock in the evening, the day's done, the shops are closed.
Yeah.
And it's just you alone with a bottle of wine.
Hey, you know what's so funny? I actually got like shamed for this the other day. I was doing a return, or like no, I didn't receive an order, and like the picture was a totally different address. So I like contacted the company, like who sent it to me, and I contacted then, like as in like the sender, like DPD, and I contacted other couriers available. Then I contacted the shop and I was like, look, I never received this order. Like the couriers confirmed this, please go and receive a refund. And then they were kind of like, we noticed that this got delivered like 10 days ago. Why are we just hearing it now? I just wanted like, babe, this is the soonest I could get round to it. Like headspace, time-wise, it didn't also I didn't get notification that got delivered. So I think I like then checked on the status of it 3 days after the fact. Then I had a weekend, then it was like 4 days. And I was like, oh, I should really sort this out. And like time just passes you by. And like you just, yeah. And I was just like, babe, don't shame me, you know? I literally like, I'm trying my best here.
No,
so,
you know, that's reminded me. I have an order that I haven't received. While we're at it, I will get into this. ASOS. I don't know what's going on over at ASOS. I stopped using ASOS for a few years, to be honest. Back in the uni days, ASOS was a place to shop. Yeah, everyone was buying that annual premium delivery thing for a tenner. Yeah, I had that. I was ordering stuff every week and like returning it if it wasn't good. You know what I mean? Really fickle. That was like Amazon Prime before Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And then I just went through a few years of just not buying anything on Amazon because I think a lot of other websites. Oh, yeah, ASOS. Yeah, thanks. A lot of other fast fashion websites came about, and there was just a lot more other choice, you know?
Yeah.
So this year, I was on a hunt for something particular, like a kind of sheer long sleeve top, because I wanted to wear it under a dress that I have. And I used my sister's account because she still has premium. And I have to say, the couriers that they use, both Yodel and Every, shockingly bad. I've got something on order I should have got 2 days ago, 3 days ago, something like that. I still haven't got it. And it's only now that you were talking about your order. I'm like, wait a minute. It's so bad. I thought it was every before because that was the first courier that delivered my last parcel.
Yeah.
And the headache. They said they attempted delivery. No, they didn't. Had to get it redirected to a collection point, all of that. It took me days to get it. Bearing in mind, it should have come next day. And now that Yodel's delivering this one, I don't know where my parcel is.
Yeah, I will say I did notice this. I haven't ordered something from there for a little while. But I would say for the past year, their delivery has just been really shoddy. And at one point, they actually had an offer, which I used to use all the time, of like, no rush to receive it, and you get 20% off your next order. And so I always used to use that because I was like, they're being shit at it anyway. I might as well. Because, yeah, granted, you can't always get it next day. But then I expected the day after that. Like, we do live in this instant world, and I do not care to wait for something. And especially because it is really hard to find the time to get to and from post office or be in the correct hours of that. And so give me the most amount of time to do that for one. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's become really shoddy, and it's a shame.
It is. They're really missing the mark on this because they used to be the best, like really back in the day.
And there is nothing better than like receiving a parcel fast. Like, it literally then feels like, oh my God, yeah, bam. And then you can also just sort out all your purchases, what you do and don't want. You can almost be trying it on the next day, doing your return the next day. Like, it's great and it works really well. And to be honest, if they were quicker, you'd probably buy more from there and blah, blah, blah. It's this whole repeat chain.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, you feel productive because you ordered it and it came and you made a decision. And
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
It should be illegal, that sensation of having a parcel delivered. Like, it should be illegal. It's just...
To all our US listeners, because I know America's a big place, I think next day is like unheard of. I think now correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the impression that getting something within 2 days is pretty fast.
Yeah.
Whereas here in the UK on our little island, really, if you wanted, you could get same day delivery.
Amazon offers same day.
Amazon do it. You know, same day is like, it's like, duh, of course, 2022, babe.
Yeah. So apologies for US listeners, but we're a small island. What can we say? But yeah, ASOS definitely needs to level up. They've actually got a really big sale on at the moment where I'm quite tempted to get a few sort of staple items. I'm like, I know, like certain jumpers where I'm like, I'll get this in a few colors. That old classic where I'm like, whilst it's got decent money off, but I also feel a bit nervous to be buying jumpers and buying into like autumn and winter just yet. I feel a bit sad about it. But I also think, you know what? It's called being organized and it's called being savvy.
Definitely. I buy some stuff in the winter.
Yeah, like, and granted, like I literally just bought two like in the summer sale. They were both like quite wintry things, but I also just think it's great in some respects. Saying that, my work we had a summer like casual dress code, and that's coming to the end. August is the end of that, and then we're going to go back to smart casual, which is essentially smart. And I just don't know if I feel ready for it. Like, I used to really love dressing up for work. I used to really go for it. I've got some great boot heels I used to rock. I now feel like I'll be embarrassed to wear that, if you know what I mean. Having worn like jeans and trainers for the last 2 months, or maybe 3, I feel like I'll be embarrassed to then suddenly rock like that kind of a intense corporate vibe.
Well, they already think you're the poshest one in the office, so
Yeah, that is true. I think I'm going to have to ease myself in saying that I was looking at some expensive shoes. You know how I've always wanted the Gucci embroidered B loafers.
Yes.
Their collective does not have my size, so we're going to watch out for that.
Have you ever been to Bicester Village?
I have. It might be worth calling them to see if they've got them.
Definitely, and they can post it to you.
Okay.
I think they can. I think if you ask, they're up for it. Like certain stores, if you ask, can you post them out to me, and I pay over the phone.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I need some sort of sales associate or someone on my side here because I've wanted these for probably nearing 4 years at least.
You spoke about these at the beginning of our podcast life cycle. So,
do I know how much I would wear them? No, I do not. Do I want them? Yes, I do.
That's all that matters.
And I also think that, you know what, if you've wanted something for this long, bite the bullet.
I agree.
I feel like I need a splurge. That's what I feel like. And I saw some shoes I like on the Chanel website, and they're like £900. That's disgusting. But do I want them? Yes, I really do. But £900 for a pair of shoes that are velvet. They're not even leather. They're great. They are great.
The velvet's fun though.
I love velvet shoes.
Are the inside
will be leather. I love velvet shoes for smart because I feel like it doesn't scuff as easy. Patent leather can scuff. It can sometimes look a bit dated. I think velvet is actually really cool. I've had like velvet brogues and loafers and stuff like that before. I fucking love them. So yeah. But anyway, I digress. What's your fashion story? Jennifer's non-Vegas wedding happened recently, and the dress code for the guests, Jennifer, J-Lo, Ben Affleck, she wore Ralph Lauren. It was at a plantation. I don't know how I feel about a plantation.
Oh yeah.
Like I actually don't even know if that should be allowed these days, but that's a separate topic. All the guests were asked to wear white. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's very Kim K and Jeffrey Humphreys.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not his name, Chris Humphreys.
I don't know what I said it and I was like,
I love that. He's that memorable. Yeah. Would you have your guests wear white at your wedding?
Oh, it's a big dick energy move, isn't it? Because you have to be so comfortable.
I am gonna shine regardless. Is what
doesn't matter how much you lot try, you will not outdress me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually bringing up some photos of this because I have not seen it.
So
okay. That does look like a very Ralph Lauren dress.
Yeah. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, would I put her in that? No, but the glam looks incredible as always.
You know what I like? The top. So it's like sort of like this halter-necky top with a little keyhole cut out. She's got a great bod. Go for it. But then the skirt, I'm guessing it's tulle or like that kind of a fabric. Maybe it's feathery, but it's just a lot of volume. I don't really get it. It doesn't really match the top, in my opinion.
I think I quite like it. And you know what? Her second dress.
I haven't seen her second.
With the as you were saying, that elongated keyhole neck.
Oh, is that not her first one?
Oh, hold on.
I think it's the same dress.
They're two different dresses.
No, I think it's the same. I think it's a complicated dress.
What? She had 3 dresses. No, she had 3 dresses.
3.
Yeah, one's a pearl
neck,
pearl shoulders.
Fine. Okay, good. I thought the keyhole and the volume dress were to get, yeah, okay, fine.
Okay.
You know what? I take it back.
The keyhole dress, I actually gasped when I first saw it, which is just now. I think it's beautiful. It's stunning, especially on her. I am gonna say I like her dresses because for a woman who's worn any couture dress she probably could have ever wanted to, this is different for a wedding dress, you know? And is it a dress that we've never seen before? No. But now I'm not being ageist here, okay? I'm just saying that what she's like 50 now or something.
Yeah.
When you get older and you go through different phases of your life, you want to try and wear different things. Like everyone who gets married in their 20s, they all want a sweetheart neckline. Most, you know what I mean? It's a really popular style, that mermaid shape at the bottom. And as you get older, you're like, I think I can just wear what I want to wear and not wear what's expected of me necessarily. And I think that's what she's done.
Yeah. No, I think she looks great. I've just re-looked at the pictures. I combined two together in my head. And yeah, let's be honest, J-Lo does shine enough that if the guests wear white, she's still gonna shine because her glam, as we said in our J-Lo episode, is always on point. It is a team effort. Her team are phenomenal. Yeah, she's obviously beautiful. Would I let my guests wear white? I think it's a nice idea in concept. I actually think it's probably quite a harsh dress code for guests. I wouldn't know what to wear if someone told me a white dress code. I think I'd find that really hard to dress for.
Okay. I don't know, to be honest.
Like, initially, I'm thinking a white suit.
Yeah.
But because white dresses or white formal dresses don't really exist because you don't wear white formal dresses to weddings traditionally. But yeah, she had all white. But I will say, I don't know if you know of the guy who's he wrote the book Think Like a Monk, Jay Shetty. His wife is like one of my life heroes. She's beautiful. She cooks vegan food. She's amazing. She posts loads of motivational stuff. She posted her look and she looks phenomenal. But like to the level of she's definitely not going to take someone's shine, even though she looks impeccable herself. But she's chosen the right level of look where you're like, yeah, I'm a guest. I know my lane. I look really good for me.
He was at the wedding.
Jay Shetty, I think, was officiating their wedding.
Stop it.
Yeah, that was the rumor. Yeah.
Hold on. Oh my god, he would love it, wouldn't he? Oh,
yeah.
I can imagine. J-Lo's wedding. I'm Googling this as we speak because I'm just shocked. I still can't get over the fact that Benefit actually happened and they actually made it down the aisle. But one thing's for sure.
Why did they have a Vegas wedding to only then have like some proper formal wedding?
So she couldn't back out of it, maybe. I don't know. One thing about J-Lo,
publicity or something. I don't know.
One thing about J-Lo is she's gonna get married. Do you know what I mean? Like, is she
at the very least gonna get engaged?
Yeah. Oh my god, I am frantically, I'm on fucking outlookindia.com because I need images of
Oh, I don't think there's images of it, but that was the rumor that he was officiating the wedding.
I've just seen a picture of him. It makes him look very different. But yeah, I'm shocked, and I'm sure his wife was an absolute stunner.
Yeah.
Wow, I liked her dresses. So they were different, and I mean, she's going to look incredible, isn't she?
It's J-Lo.
It's J-Lo, yeah.
What is your fashion, Dolly?
Well, mine is a collab that we never saw coming, but I think it's the best sort of collab. Well, it is. It's a good one. M&S, Marks and Spencer's, has partnered up with the England football team to come out with a men's collection that includes suits, casual, like elevated casual basics for men, ties that incorporate the three lions, silk pocket squares, braces, you know, the works, cufflinks, things like that. For the man who wants to, you know, dress up a little, you know, more than normal. And I have to say, I like the collection. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I feel like they might have been the suit outfitter for the Euros. I don't know if I'm pulling that out of my arse, but I also think it's a really clever thing for M&S because English football is actually doing really well. We got really far in the Euros. The World Cup is upon us. It's happening this winter. What better time to get young men like more aware of M&S? You know, like we spoke about in our last episode that it's part of a female journey, potentially going and getting your first bra from there, all of that stuff. And like it actually is still a really affordable place for you to get your suit for sixth form or your first occasion suit. It is a really great place for all of that, and so I think it makes really good sense.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially as you mentioned that suit for sixth form, prom suit. Maybe it's not for prom, but you know,
if you haven't owned a suit before, yeah,
birthdays, Christmas, all
first
that stuff.
job.
Definitely. M&S is it's bread and butter is like the basics, isn't it? And you know, if you're looking for something in particular, you're gonna find it in M&S when it comes to clothing and food, you know. They're not fast fashion in that sense, but you know the quality is going to be decent when you go there, and you're going to get a good range of sizes and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, M&S is solid, and I think definitely British institution to partner up with like our biggest team of our biggest sport.
Yeah.
So it really makes sense, and I think that the collection's nice. It's really tasteful. It's not trend driven. I wonder. I don't know. I'm just going to put the idea out there. What with the women's team doing so well this year?
Yeah.
Maybe next year is when we see this collection, but the women's collection.
For sure. They should get whatever the equivalent is. I don't know if women have, I'm going to be honest, I don't really follow women's football, but you know how men will turn up in suits or they finish in suits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if women have the equivalent. I've never seen that, but regardless, they should definitely get some huge ambassador deal. It would be great for M&S to pick up on that. Especially because it's really important, I think, to capitalize the fact that we are raising a generation now of women or young girls, little girls, like whatever, to realize that women's sport and all of that counts. So when there are little girls now who are like 4 years old, they know that's something to aspire to. That's a real job for women, like blah, blah, blah. If that starts now, imagine what the level is going to be like in 20 years' time.
Sure. I mean, they've won like the biggest cup there is to win.
Yeah.
You know,
I think I remember messaging you being like, saying something about it, and you're like, so what, the men haven't won a cup in like 50 years? And I was like,
yeah,
correct.
Yeah. And I think also
from 70 years even.
From a fashion perspective, M&S to come out with a women's collection, you know, for the women's England team with a suit in there, with nicely tailored women's suit in a navy and a black, or I mean, their collection's pretty much like blue and navy.
Yeah.
So blue and navy, but for women. And then obviously like dresses and other kind of departments that feature in women's wear as well. Because I think there are women out there, I know it's I know there are women out there who are not femme dressing,
Yeah.
and they want to be able to wear things that suit their body shape, their physique, whether it's sportier or whether it's not. They want something that's not feminine, but not necessarily like, I bought this in the men's section and it wasn't made for someone of my height and my build and my chest size and my hip ratio.
Yeah.
But I would like to be able to wear a suit if I feel more comfortable in it. And I think that is the trick that M&S could do. And another thing that's good about this collaboration is that, every other week we talk about collabs and it's centered around exclusivity. And M&S is not about that. I'm on their website now and everything's available.
Yeah.
You can buy it if you want. You know how M&S are like, 27 of these have sold in the past 48 hours. It says that, but it's not to say like it's sold out.
Yeah. It's not to try and make you scaremongered into buying something. And yeah, it's meant to be accessible. That is what M&S is.
Definitely. And that's what's nice about this collaboration. Like, the quality is going to be good, the fit's going to be decent. And if people can get their hands on it without this panic buying, I think they're onto a winner, basically.
We interrupt this broadcast to say, go follow us on Instagram. Our handle is @StyleOverSubstancePod. There you'll find our weekly fashion topics, all the stuff that we discuss in each episode, and our polls.
Or reach out to us at styleoversubstancepodcast@gmail.com for new suggestions of topic discussions, or even to share your own fashion stories. We also have a YouTube channel, Style Over Substance Podcast, if you'd rather listen to our episodes over there.
Back to the episode. We are discussing essentially new money versus old money and how that presents itself in a fashion world. And so I guess old money is money that has been in a family for a long time. Let's say like over the period of a couple of generations. New money is that a family hasn't grown up wealthy and has acquired a lot of money in one or two generations, and it is still quite new to them to be raised that way, and they kind of don't know, they haven't grown up with it, so maybe the way they present themselves appears different, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's definitely the definition that I have. And I think from what I've seen, whether that's watching videos on YouTube or just being online and consuming a lot of like content, I've seen this discussion that's centered around stereotyping the fashion choices of old money versus new money. And I think it's a really interesting conversation because when we talk about luxury fashion, exclusivity, heritage, those sorts of things are core to luxury fashion. And also when you talk about luxury fashion, often is talked about as like logomania, things which are expensive but they're trend driven, versus things that are expensive but classic. There's always that, like, the word classic is touted about quite a lot, and it's like, well, what does that mean? What does it mean to be classic? Is that aspirational? Should we give a shit? And then also, do people think that makes them better than other groups? and vice versa. If you're new money and you dress a certain way, does that make you more interesting than those classic types? So I think it's central to luxury fashion, that dichotomy.
Yeah. And I would say the kind of the gossipy world implies that old money looks down on new money. And generally, we look down on new money because they are tackier and all of that stuff. And I would say that old money is meant to sort of, buy into quality, longevity, things that maybe don't have logos, but like underlying, if you're in the know, you know. And new money is typically the kind that buys into logo mania, is trying to show you, look how wealthy I am. But I don't know if that is a fair thing to say, for one. And for two, is there anything wrong with presenting as new money?
Yeah.
Because the Instagram world is chasing like both, but arguably the new money side more.
Yeah, I think that being like both of us born and raised in Britain gives, because Britain's all about class, isn't it?
It's all about all money.
Central to British culture. And I think that we have a particular view of what old money is and what new money is, in the same way that when I see videos about dress like a Parisian, the French way is different, old money versus new money. And when you look at Americans, their old money and new money is different again, and all around the world as well. In Britain, I think old money is country estates,
stately home.
Old money people look a bit scruffy. That's like the stereotype that I think.
Moth-eaten like jumpers.
Yes.
Yeah, tartan, like 2 weeks late for their haircut.
Yeah, they don't get their nails done. They're wearing tartan gilets. Like the Queen.
A very beloved Barber jacket that could probably do with being replaced.
They've gone out to tend to their horses and they've still got mud on their wellies. Yeah. And they drive an old Range Rover, like an old Range Rover. We're not talking about the new ones.
Yeah, like very old, or like Land Rover-esque. Yeah.
The Queen is she, in her personal downtime, dresses old money.
Yeah, her little headscarf, which can be chic, but her like long little skirts. I mean, long little is that doesn't make sense. Her long skirts. Does that look good? No, it doesn't. Are they probably 50 years old? Yes, they probably are.
Yeah. And so when I listen to people online and they glorify old money, and I take into account the version of old money that I grew up seeing, it's like, I don't know about you, but I don't want to look like I smell like I haven't hoovered my house in a really long time. No, but do you get what I
don't want to look like I smell like mothballs.
I don't want to look like I smell like mothballs. I don't want to look like I haven't had my hair trimmed in about 5 years. I don't want to look like, I don't want to look like I smell like I live on muddy farms or something. But that's like the classic British old money view. That's the stereotype, okay? And there are lots of people who live by that stereotype. So it's funny, like when people have these discussions, there's so much geographical nuance to it, which is often when I've listened to people talk about old money, it's someone who wears pearls, very clean, smells like Chanel No. 5.
Yeah.
It's her, puts her hair in rollers every night. Subtle makeup, understated, confident in herself.
Has
then,
2 nail shades she differs between, and one for spring, like one for summer, one for winter, like a peach, like pale nude for that's almost like your nails but better for the summer, and
very messy.
maybe a deep red for the winter, but like not whole red, like dark red. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Nails cut to a certain length. They shouldn't be too long. They're
It's
always your
that,
natural nail.
that oval shape, isn't it? You're getting that oval shape, and you can't be having French tips.
No, no. I actually still have an aversion to French tips because of like, I feel like that the perception of a French tip when we were younger was chavvy.
It was, but it's definitely back in vogue.
And also, there's just a way to do it. I personally am not for a squared nail. I don't think there's a time or a place for that in my life or in anyone else's. Each to their own. I don't think that's a nail shape that's flattering on anyone. But
how do you feel about a coffin? You know, when it's tapered?
I way prefer a coffin. Yeah. It just can't be like to your fingertip and be squared off. No, that doesn't look nice on anyone, in my humble opinion. But I also do prefer a French tip that has more of a curve or length to it. I don't just like when it's, yeah. I think there's a time, I love a French tip. Don't get me wrong. It's got to be done right.
I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, it's I think,
you know what old money is as well. It's like for a woman, especially even a man, they tie their sweater around their shoulders.
you know, I love
that's a great way to style things. Don't get me wrong, but like she is wearing a blouse that is tucked into some peg trousers. He is wearing some corduroy trousers and a shirt that he has owned for 20 years. That is like maybe a cardigan or a sweater vest. But I think actually what you said about the makeup thing is really interesting. And I actually think that's a real kind of exemplary thing, even of just that fashion stereotype, is from the makeup. It's kind of that barely anything there. They are not the kind of people who are going to play around with some colorful eyeshadow. Like, no. Or like, and they've got like 2 lip colors. It's probably the same for like the last 10 years, from Bobbi Brown or something. And I think that in general, new money has a playfulness that old money typically by stereotype doesn't have.
Definitely.
Like playing with acrylic nails, playing with crazy makeup, like I'm going to change the shape of my face with Botox and injectables, like all of that shit, like maximized. Yeah.
It's the belief that old money has already done that, been there, said that, worn that, don't need to do it again. I know what it's like. You lot over there who've just come into money are trying everything all at once. And over the past, I would say even the past like year, really not that long, when I've gone on YouTube, I've been served up videos. Maybe the algorithm is trying to tell me something, but I've been served up videos where this idea of dressing classically will somehow afford you more femininity, will somehow afford you, sometimes it's like a sugar daddy, you know, those like, if you want to bag a rich man, you know what men don't like? They don't like logomania. They don't like
flamboyance,
extra long nails. They don't like this, that, and the other. Make sure you always have your hair blow dried and all this. I'm just like, since when? First off, there's like this link between dressing classically and morality, or like value as a person. Why? Because you like to wear loafers and I like to wear loafers, but I'm hardly the most classic person ever. Like, why is there a correlation between natural nails, loafers, cardigans tied around your neck and all of that, tied with this understated confidence because you have to be pretty damn confident to wear Balenciaga, which is pretty damn loud.
Yeah. That's so, and also I think that the way I have seen trends for the last few years, new money is basically the trend of the last 5 years. Like whether that's logo mania, like right now with nail art, I've been in a real deep dive with nail art. I've decided I'm going to try and like do my own nails. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But even that, like you said, that is not an old money thing to have nail art. It is like all this stuff is kind of this real representation of flamboyance. And it's kind of like good girls don't have acrylic nail extensions. Good girls, like, you know, keep their nails to a certain length and la la la. And there's this whole dialogue. But I would say for the last 5 years, 3 years in particular, like Instagram, social media life is literally been about going for everything. Logo this, logo that, colorful, like the amount of influencers that I see that is just putting so many colors, and the amount of women I see finally dressing for themselves, not for the attraction of a man. And it's funny, I think I mentioned the other day, like I catch myself and I kind of question, like, is this attractive to someone else? And it's definitely not, but it's a style that I like. And I kind of am in conflict of like, is this nice to other people? And I have probably like a few different wardrobes of like, this is what I present to myself to be attractive to other people. But if I'm dressing for myself, then this is the stuff that I wear that is way more like eyebrow, or like maybe people are confused, or like, does that even look nice? Maybe not. And I think that that has all been unleashed, and maybe that's quote unquote new money, but I think it's also just the trend of now.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. We're at a time in general where flamboyance isn't looked down upon. And so whether you are in actual fact old money or new money, I think it's really hard to tell who is from one camp or the other. A lot of talk, and I think we've had an episode about this for sure, fashion stories about this, but Hermes bags and how much hype these bags have had in the past few years. Don't get me wrong, I would in a minute love to have one of these.
Yeah.
But I think that people who can get their hand, who didn't grow up rich, but managed to get their hands on an Hermes bag, is almost like being ingratiated into a whole new class. If you can spend $7,000 on a bag and buy other things from Hermes in order to get that bag or thereafter, it's like you've made it. And throw down 10 grand on a bag.
Yeah.
You really do feel like it's a pretty big financial accomplishment. And I think because Hermes is known for being understated, you know, the bags aren't flamboyant, and that's a reason why a lot of people don't really rate the bags. But it's also the same reason why a lot of people do rate the bag. And I think that's because it's been a brand that's been loved by high society. You know, you talk about Jackie O, you talk about Jane Birkin, and like, I mean, she was quite rock and roll, but you know, she was in the circles of wealthy celebrity, you know. And so that was high society, and people bought Hermes bags for, as you said, if you know, you know. And people used to, like, when you talk about, I think we mentioned the Olsen twins, they've had money for a long time, but then they're not old money as such, but they have Birkins and they're battered. They don't give a shit.
That's an old money flex right there.
It's an old money flex. It's like, yeah, I spent 10 grand on this bag, but I'm gonna wear it to death. And I think, that's why that bag has become so popular, because I think it's a symbol of old money. And I think that you're right. The trends now, just in general, are about flamboyance. When we take the example of Bottega Veneta, so it's an old money
Old money
brand.
brand, but it's appealing to new money.
Definitely trying to appeal to new money now, in that it's got bright colors, it's got quite original shapes. No, it's not
Short,
fussy.
sharp, trend-driven shapes, like the big woven shoes, like all of that stuff, like micro, large, crazy, whatever. Yeah, that's appealing to it.
I think that, as you were saying, that quote unquote old money brand recognizes that the trends now are about color, is about shape, form, flamboyance. I mean, they have a pair of shoes which is like a telephone cord.
Yeah. I think we can even say this about Hermes though, with the mini Kelly, that like that's become a huge thing that I'm seeing everywhere. Like the amount of influencers who just have now like and they're buying more, like one or two and this year, and we're only in August, and you're like, sorry, you've just bought two 6 grand bags and they're not the only bags you've bought. And it's this whole, oh well, we've made it a smaller size and so therefore it's more interesting, whereas they used to be like quite large sizes. And I just think that they are playing into that hand as well.
Yeah.
And the reality is there is more new money than old money. Like old money can only exist, like whoever's rich now will be considered old money in 100 years. So that takes a while to grow and prosper. Whereas the reality is we also live in a world where someone can become rich overnight with crypto. They can become viral on YouTube, all of this stuff, that all these careers that have just created themselves. Like think of like Logan Paul, all of this stuff that like Zoella, like people who just that didn't exist, who have become very wealthy. Like some influencers that I follow, like I dread to think what they're earning to be buying these things. Is crazy. Like that is the world we live in now, is a new money world.
Yes, definitely. It's really elitist, I think, to kind of say that this old money, whatever that is to you, is somehow better, and you will get further in life if you dress a certain way, buy certain brands, or you are maybe more worthy of ridicule if you do like more flamboyant stuff. And when you think about it, back to the point of like old money, new money, stereotypes are so tied geographically. What we consider here as old money, new money is completely different to what we consider wealth, new wealth, and old wealth in other parts of the world. So some cultures, like Indian cultures, Indian culture, color is everywhere. It's essential to their history.
Yeah.
You know, I hazard a guess, but I would say maybe people who live in India who wear more muted colors now are seen as more modern dressing,
for sure.
new money dressing. Maybe
westernized, new money, modern. Yeah.
Exactly, more westernized. Whereas those who have had wealth for a long time love to wear a lot of gold.
Yeah.
Love to wear a lot of saris.
They've got beautiful saris in every color that they've had in their family or they've had for a long time. Yeah.
Exactly, because old money is tied to, and even in England, like old money in essence is tied to royalty.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me that it would, that old money would be flamboyant. But then, you know, when you take, you know, other countries and other continents, again, color is and gold and excessive jewelry and those sorts of things are quote unquote old money. You know, if you were a king of your region or a queen of your region in your tribe, you would be donning the best stuff. You're not out here trying to look understated. What the fuck is that? You need people to know that you run this town and that you have a lot of wealth, and that outward display of wealth can sometimes command respect in other cultures. But I think in the West, and I don't know what the reason is, maybe you have an idea, but it's the complete opposite.
I don't really have an answer for that. And I think that's also just cultural perceptions of different things. However, what it sort of is spelling to me is that a lot of the old money, and we're being really generic here, by the way, but like it's an archetypal stereotype template, not very expressive. And I just think we have moved into a world, and I think like it is also a representation of so many things that we are delving deeper. We're becoming more expressive. That, like you said, jewelry was kind of kept like for old money. There's a signet ring, your favorite for sure. And like maybe there's a gold chain as a necklace for a man. Women, you keep it quite simple, you keep it quite demure. But like I'm someone, I love a lot of rings. That's probably seen as chaotic. That's probably seen as whatever. But I just think, and lots of piercings, like all of this stuff. And like we are being really stereotypical of like a single piercing and all of that stuff. But that is what was considered classy, demure, the way is appropriate. And I think we just become more expressive. And I think that that is showing through this maybe new money culture and just through trends itself, that we want to show our individualism.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if being a little bit more demure is tied to not becoming a target for financial crimes. You don't want to get mugged in the street. You don't want people to pursue your bank accounts, to follow you home, things like that. But I guess that can happen the world over, isn't it? It can happen no matter where you live. You become a target if you have money.
Yeah, I think so. And actually, like the more we talk about this, I've always sort of like had a bit of an affinity with old money, because like that's what you think about, right? And you're like, oh, that's wealth, that's wealth. But actually, I think that it's much more expressive. Like new money, like they just don't give as much of a shit. Like, and yeah, they can blow it and they can like pay for stuff, and like whether it's seen as tacky or all of that stuff, I think it's just about like our perception, and it's also just about our judgment. And there's definitely old money who buys into Balenciaga and has all these logo mania and does all the stuff with the fake nails, has got Botox to the nines. And there's new money who is trying to look as classic as possible. So there are people who are definitely not conforming to this. But I also just think that, dude, if you got money, spend it how you want to.
Like, I saw in one of these comment sections, it was like, new money is better than no money. And you know what? It's true.
For sure. And also the only way I'm going to be rich is if it is new money. I haven't got old money to come into. So like I need it to be new money.
You could marry into some old money.
I want to create my own fortune, you know, like that is my journey.
I hear that.
I won't say no to old money, but like I won't just accept that. Like I am a person that wants to contribute to the wealth of my family.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
Because also I have, like, as we heard, I saw some £900 Chanel shoes. I'm not asking my husband for that handout. I want to buy that for myself. You know?
Yeah. Those shoes won't buy themselves. So
they won't buy themselves. And let's be honest, it's taken me 4 years to be like, I should buy those Gucci shoes that are now out of stock everywhere. So yeah. I think we can all say I'm not an impulsive luxury purchaser.
Oh yeah, that's because we're no money.
Well, that's the thing. My bank account says no, you're not a luxury impulse purchaser.
Yeah, exactly.
So one day when I'm new money, you'll see it on my feet.
Yeah. And I am manifesting that for you.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like your little Rolex journey has really inspired me to be like, you know what? I need some nice things in my life. I just really believe that. I just think there's ways to get these things. And yeah, I just want some nice things in my life.
I think, listen, we only have one life to live. You either get those Gucci shoes in this life,
Yeah.
or you may never get them in the next.
And actually, funnily enough, I was saying to a friend of mine, which is like, like I never know what, like if I should save or spend. I was like, what are you saving for? Like she has a house, she owns a house, she's married. I was like, so what are you saving for?
Mm-hmm.
Because like, of course, yeah, be sensible with your money, but there's also like it's to be enjoyed. And there's a real obviously TikTok trend of like, I can make this money back, but I'll never be 25 in Europe exploring like Santorini and all of that shit. And to some degree, that's true. I mean, don't get yourself in debt, but
I think my approach to expensive things is I'm not going to say I'm not going to buy it because I don't think I deserve it, because I do think I deserve nice things.
We deserve it.
We deserve. My approach to it is like, I'm going to figure out what I want, and that's my goal. And I just squirrel towards it. And one day, I would have accumulated the money to get that thing. As you said, no one else is going to give you what you want. You have to go and get it yourself. And I think that...
And it doesn't taste like, for me, it wouldn't feel as good, taste as good, whatever it is, if someone else got it for me. Mm-hmm. There are certain things you want to earn for yourself. Like if someone, I mean, don't get me wrong, you would not turn down your Rolex right now.
No. Well...
But you want to buy that for yourself. And there are certain things, like I know that with a Chanel handbag, no man is buying me a Chanel handbag before I buy one for myself. Like, no, that's actually a disrespect.
Yeah. It really depends who it's coming from. And if it's not I don't know, but listen, if it was like a random man on the street, I'd be like, no, I don't need a Rolex from you. Like, even if I know it's real.
No, but even love of my life, please respect.
Yes.
That I want to buy this for myself. Then you can buy me a Rolex the next day. Then you can buy me another Chanel bag the next day. But let me get there first. And then you can buy me 10.
Yeah. And I think this really links with the idea of old money and new money. Because new money, when people with quote unquote new money go out and they buy things they want and they flex as hard as they want, and it's logo from the tippy tops of their head to the tippy tops of their feet, there's a level of accomplishment and pride in them being able to create the lifestyle they live for themselves, or as a partnership or whatever it might be. That new money, getting confused. Old money will never be able to experience.
Yeah.
And there's an idea of, you cannot look down on people who, against all odds, managed to create the life that they wanted, whether that's luxury fashion or not, whilst you haven't. What does this mean to you? It means nothing to you, because I don't know, £10,000 this or £5,000 that is just another day to you. And for you, because you didn't earn it, you inherited it, There is no pride really in flaunting it. Whereas for other people who are new money, and I'm not saying everyone is like braggadocious or like flamboyant in that sense, but like if you bought those Gucci loafers, for some people it's nothing, but for you would tell me, you'd be like, let me send you some pictures of my new shoes. Let me tell you about the journey I took.
I hope you've got a foot fetish because you're about to get some feet pictures.
I'm going to tell you the story on how I located that pair in my size at the right time, how I picked it up. You're going to tell people, look at the shoes I bought.
Yeah.
And I'm not going for some basic, I'm going for something that's like fun or at least enjoyable to me. And I think that's like a core part of this really nonsense argument that everyone should like dress understated and quote unquote old money.
But also I think there's a way to dress understated with stuff like that. I remember, I think I might have even said the story on the podcast. I was on a plane when I was being harassed by the person sat next to me. I say harassed, he was talking to me incessantly. That's what I mean. And at one point he was like, oh, I really like your shoes. They're unusual. And they are one of my nicest pair of shoes. They are Chanel Espadrilles. And he was like, where are they from? And I wasn't going to be like, babe, they're Chanel.
What do you mean? Don't know what this double
because that's not me. And I'm not wearing them to flex. Like, I mean, I guess in some way you're always wearing something like that to flex, but like I wear them because they're nice and I like them. But like, I'm not wearing them to flex because I'm not going to go, they're Chanel to everyone who meets me. So I was like, oh, like, I think I just like said something. I was like, oh, whatever. Or like, oh, I got them a few years ago or something. And just like brushed it off. And I think that's also a big difference when I locate my B loafers. If someone's like, oh, like those are weird or like those are unusual, where are they from? I'm not going to be like, they're Gucci. I'll be like, oh, like, yeah, they're just some shoes, because I'm not buying it for that gratification. I own them for that self-satisfaction of like, I've got some cool shoes, but I don't need other people unless they're in the know. Like, for sure, I'd accept a wink from a stranger to be like, hey, great shoes.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the fact that you're buying that particular type with the embroidery on it is not, it's not the most understated.
It's not subtle.
Because
we aren't subtle in this house.
Yeah, like
I've seen some fake versions and I refuse. Like, I actually refuse.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, I think it's an argument that will continue on forevermore. It's the most useless argument in really luxury fashion. I think it's really interesting. It says a lot about those who believe in these trends either way. So yeah, definitely a really interesting topic.
What should we ask the people?
Are you an old money gal or a new money gal? Don't know. What are you?
What do you mean? Well, I have neither.
We've both established that we are no money gal. But what?
I think I'm a hybrid. I'm going to be honest. I think I'm a hybrid. I'm not huge into logos. And I actually just think the way that the generation we were raised in, we were raised where it was very chav culture to have even like Chanel earrings. I actually didn't like Chanel for quite a while because those like double C earrings were seen as really tacky. Burberry was only classy if it was a trench coat and you couldn't see the tartan. Like we were brought up in an England where all of that stuff was seen as quite tacky. And like, even like, let's be honest, my tirade about French tips, like that sticks with me. So I definitely have those old money ideas in my head, and I'm not the biggest logo fan, but I also think that new money flexes and not worrying about it being like the most timeless classic piece and just going, I like it, and not thinking too much about it. like we've spoken time and time again about what my first Chanel purchase will be. And I really swear, I hope it's not just a plain black bag. I actually really hope it's something more playful than that, because I think I deserve that.
Yeah.
But old money is like you buy the black one and then you buy the cream one and then you maybe buy it in navy. Whereas I think new money is like, I want the neon yellow, I want this, and then I'm going to get the bedazzled one. And I don't care if it's not timeless. I don't care if it doesn't go with all my outfits. And I think that, yeah, I'm like somewhere in between. How about you?
I can't say that I'm an old money aesthetic, if I'm honest. Do I go around in logomania? No, I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on that. If I'm going to spend a lot of money on something, it's got to look pretty special.
Yeah.
And I think fashion is for being playful.
Yeah.
Whether you've come from generations of money or not, if you're into fashion, you're going to want to switch it up. Yeah. And I think it really just boils down to your personality. If you're a pretty straightforward,
plain Jane,
real sort of person, then you're not going to indulge in the frivolities of fashion. But if you are more eclectic and more of a passionate person and more of an experimental person, you can't help but want to buy what's new and what's different and be confident in wearing some ridiculous shit, because I think I've worn some really ridiculous shit over the years. But I think I probably,
at least you've tried.
At least I err on the side of new money without having money, basically.
Yeah. You know what this episode has made me realize? I'm starting my fashion fund.
What's that? Oh, you're going to save away money?
Yeah, there's going to be like a squirrel fund, and that is for the extravagant purchases that I will never make.
I mean, do it.
Fashion fund, yeah. Because also, like, the reality is, if that's what brings you joy, and like clearly it does, we've spoken away about fashion for however many episodes now. Like, I just think you should spend your money on the things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whatever that might be, if it's techie stuff, if it's computers, computer games, if it's the latest running watch or like cycling technology, whatever it might be, I just think like spend your money on the things that bring you joy.
Definitely. I think also you have to remember, although I think those are great words to live by, it requires a bit of sacrifice.
Yeah.
It requires sometimes going into a shop and be like, no, because I know I'm saving up for that Chanel.
Yes.
And when I get that Chanel, I will never
want that Zara blouse.
I will not even remember that Zara blouse.
That I wanted in 5 colours. Yeah.
You know, like that. No, but for real, like that £50 you would have spent easy on 2 items in Zara.
That's very true. It should come at a cost. It should come at a cost.
Yeah.
For us regular folk.
Yeah. I guess that's it.
That's it. Old versus new. Let us know.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Style Over Substance, guys.
Don't forget to check out our Instagram or Spotify to respond to this week's poll.
Bye.
Bye.